All right, here's another warning for this week's episode. It is laced with cussing. That's all the time I'm spending on that warning. Let's go. Welcome to Planet Noun, where it's all about the people, places, things, and ideas that teach us, prompt us to make a difference, and do more with what life presents. So this week we have another collaboration episode with Liliana and Tamara of Barely Bougie Mamas. It's a podcast that was released during the summer. If you haven't heard last week's episode, be sure to take a listen after you get through with this one. So Liliana and Tamara of Barely Bougie Mamas, both of these moms grew up in poverty, but they have crafted lives for themselves and their kids that are totally different from their own upbringings. And of course, they talk about all of the funnies and concerns that stem from those differences. Now, last week, we specifically focused on some of their experiences during their formative years versus how their kids are growing up. Now, this week, my sister Lea and I are guests on their show, talking about something we know, being childless single aunties, and the role that such aunties play, or that any auntie plays, in the family fabric. Whether they're linked by bloodlines or play aunties that are for real with their care, concern, and involvement. So let's get to it with the Barely Bougie Mamas and Planet Noun.
We have guests.
Yay!
Tamara has been chomping at the bit for fucking guests.
People! I like people. I like people.
Whatever. So, these are my friends, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have my friends too, but mine will probably be white. Next time.
So, Liz and Lea, I grew up with them. Liz and I are the same age, like 2 or 3 months apart. And Lea, you're 3 years older than us?
3.
And today we're going to discuss unmarried aunties.
Oh, okay.
And the pros and cons, I guess we could call it, of being an unmarried auntie or having an unmarried auntie in your life. Mm-hmm. So, let's start with you guys. You guys have nieces and nephews, right? Or only nieces?
Just nieces.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm petitioning for a nephew.
Wait, so neither of you guys have children?
Nope.
Oh, and you've neither been married?
Nope. So speaking of the non-stereotype, well, that's a reference to a collaboration podcast that we just recorded.
Yeah, so make sure that you listen to both podcasts.
Right, because it's a continuation, because we're not meeting again.
No, and listen, it's the same conversation. We're still having the conversation, so you're going to have to listen to both.
So your brothers are significantly younger than you, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the first brother is
There are 15 years between me and Phil.
And the youngest.
And the youngest.
Yeah.
The youngest.
Mm-hmm.
So they are the ones that had children, right?
Actually, no, one.
Oh,
brother.
Philip don't have no kids? Oh.
Not yet. We need to start. That's the one we need to start petitioning.
Yeah, he needs to get himself together.
Okay, so now we're just talking. So I have a girlfriend who's unmarried, doesn't have any children. And she was telling me a story the other day that somebody was talking to her and they were like, you know, you're so happy and you don't even have kids and you don't even have a man. And I have that. And I'm still not even happy, but you're so happy. How do you deal with those kind of comments? Because that kind of shit would piss me off. Have you heard any kind of that? Do people assume that because you're in your 40s or over 40 and you don't have children, you don't have kids, that, oh my God, can you be happy?
Life has ended.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I've heard that before, and it is irritating, but, you know, I've heard it more than one time. So, I mean, I just brush it off because I am what I am. You know what? You know what gets them? When I'm in the Bahamas.
This is the globetrotter.
Yes, let's go.
When I say, oh, let me run to Vegas right quick.
Right.
Or let me go to New York for a couple of days.
That's where she was last week.
That's where I was last week. And it's, and then it becomes, you're so lucky.
Oh,
You know,
so funny.
the song changes, you know. So people are going to say what they are going to say, and they're going to think what they're going to think, but whatever.
Yeah.
How about you, Liz? Have you had that?
Well, not from you. But
No. For me, you've been like, I've always been like, damn, bitch.
You lucky.
one time I remember you told me when we shared a place in LA, and it had like a pool. It kind of had like a Melrose Place type feel to it, and the courtyard and everything.
That was a cool
And it was like, I have the life that I thought you were gonna have, and you have the life that I thought I was gonna have, and we had to laugh off of that because I thought I was gonna be married by now with a couple of kids, maybe 3, and it's just our lives are just kind of like reversed.
Wow.
How we thought. But as far as the people asking, I used to have some friends who would ask and who would try and wonder about me getting married or having a significant other because that's what they have and they seem to be happy.
No, they just want to.
They just want to know.
They just want to include you in their misery.
So, but now they don't necessarily ask anymore because and they know the ups and downs. Sometimes I feel lonely, but at this stage in the game, after 2 engagements that didn't work out and that kind of thing. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm supposed to be. I'm a spinster.
What is
I'm a sexy spinster. What?
I always thought I was going to be a spinster. And I always thought I'd be a cougar, too. I wanted to be a cougar so bad. I wanted to be a cougar. And I just think that's just...
Is that a cougar on you? No, what's that on
leopard.
We're talking about her tattoo.
But I did think I was going to be a cougar. So I do, actively envy you.
But it's like, each day is different. And of
Absolutely.
course, with womanly cycles and things like that, things kind of, ebb and flow and change. But overall, I'm to the point where I'm okay.
Okay, the song that I think that we should listen to right now, any ladies that are hearing this, we should listen to Holy by Jamila Woods. Because she has a song, a line, and she says, I'm lonely, but I'm not alone.
Right.
In this moment, in that particular moment or time that you feel whatever it is, you feel lonely. But because we understand tribe and family, we're not alone.
Right. And I think that that's what the unmarried auntie brings, right? We as the people that have family and children and everything bring to them the tribe. And they bring to us
the tribe still.
The tribe. But in the sense of, I say tribe in terms of population of people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But they bring to the tribe this energy of listen, I have some friends that are unmarried aunties, and I'd be like, listen, girl, can you take these motherfuckers for a little bit? And they have the energy, right? Because they don't have to deal with kids. Like, if everybody in my environment and in my tribe was in the same space as I was with 3 kids under 5, and there would be no one to give relief because we all in this mire
going through the same thing.
Yeah. So
if that was the current real situation, I would probably try to move us all to a village or a compound. I would try to move us all to a compound. We could all share each other's men and women, and everybody just kind of.
I don't know about sharing the men.
That's just how my mind works. That's
me and my friends said we're going to do like this Golden Girls thing when we get older. So we're going to have a mansion and all live or whatever. Somebody said, well, what about the men? I said, well, they can stay in the he shed.
We can go visit him. Just go see him.
Yes.
Or maybe he could have a little buzzer and he could just come to the room that buzzed him.
Do a little down area. Ring the bell.
Your services are needed.
Just kidding, everybody.
But not really.
That's a great idea, though, right?
Okay, so you all are aunties. Are you aunties to anyone else's kids?
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I do have most of my friends, their children are over 10 now. So I'm kind of like an auntie figure. They call me Miss Lea. A few of them call me Auntie Lea or whatever. But yeah, I am like that auntie figure.
So, you have play nieces and nephews? I guess that's what you call it, right?
Yeah. So another friend who lives back east, her kids all call me Auntie Liz.
That's cute.
And I don't mind.
I mean, the reason, because when we were talking about doing this subject, I was like, I never experienced a single unmarried auntie, because we talked about in the previous podcast how my family set up is my aunties were on and off drugs, but they were still had kids and husbands or boyfriends, so there was always that. And then my uncles, that married women. They became my aunties, but they were married. And my mom didn't have a whole bunch of friends. And the friends that she did have, they had kids, so they were single mothers too. Mm-hmm. So I personally didn't have what you all are. And now that my kids have it, because I have a sister-in-law.
Okay.
I have 2 sister-in-laws, but one is a co-parent. Like, not like she's really a co-parent, but there'll be times I'll be like, listen, the kids haven't been over there in like 3 weeks. Like, what's up? Your visitations are you're skipping on you're failing on your visitations. Right. We can't plan weekends if you don't take these kids. I don't want to have to get a court order. Right? But like that's what it feels like, because
trying to be nice
if
here.
Auntie Mimi doesn't take these kids, if Auntie doesn't take these kids like once or twice a week, I'm gonna be like, or no, twice a month, I'd be like, and she hasn't in like 2 or 3 months because she's been having her own things happening. But I was like, oh man. But that goes into the play auntie stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's my sister-in-law. That's my husband's blood sister.
Okay.
That's where my kids can spend the night.
Right.
Now me, I got a posse, right? I would say somewhere between 7 to 10 women that I would consider my solid folks. Different levels of stuff. Some of them may know my children, may not. But none, I mean, these are best friends, sister friends. There's one that is my kid's like godmother. There's 2 that are like godmothers. But they still won't spend the night there.
Right, because there's a thing, you can't spend the night at non-family member's house.
Yeah, so like,
that's in an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I can't
remember
which one, but that's
Yeah, we coming up on that one to dive deep into that.
Yeah, because that's what that makes it makes a struggle, because I do have unmarried and married girlfriends that don't have children.
Okay.
And I have a girlfriend, a super good girlfriend. She's married, she doesn't have children, and she goes and gets her nieces and nephews, and they come over for the weekend, and she's like, yeah, all the kids are here. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll meet you in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because my kids can't spend the night. And it's funny because I do think of them as sisters, but there is a difference.
Well, so my sisters don't live near us. And one of them I probably would not let my children stay with her, just because there's some other things going on there. My youngest sister has come and stayed at our house and stayed with the kids while we've gone on a special weekend or that kind of thing. Totally okay with that. I don't even think about it. I'd be like, and this is where I'm at. I told my sister, my younger sister, I said, you are their guardians, right? You're gonna have them if something happened to us. And she was like, for real? I was like, but you get the house. She was like, well, okay.
I guess, okay.
Right? Like,
you're leaving her with provisions.
Right. I'm not leaving you high and dry. Right. You're gonna have something. But I do have a couple of unmarried friends that I've allowed the girls to stay with. Not unmarried. Unmarried aunties, yes, but they're not. They're just friends. They are not. They're not blood.
Where'd you meet them?
So one of them is Nick's childhood friend from Kenya. Okay. And when I say stay, they come to our house. We don't let them go to somebody else's house. Okay. Well, that's not true, because they did get to go stay with Miss Karina in Long Beach, the 3 of them. But Miss Karina don't have no man living with her, and I trust her enough to know to have sense that she's not gonna have anybody in and out when my kids are there. So that.
My favorite part, because do you guys see? I mean, do you realize your importance? I guess that's the question. Do you understand how important you are?
Not just for babysitting.
I'm not talking about babysitting. I'm legit not talking about babysitting.
No, I began to understand the role a little bit better, because what I see is, like you mentioned before, Liliana.
Yeah, don't put that other one out there.
I had to censor myself right there on the tip. But I started realizing that it is an important role when my nieces come out here to visit. the ability or just the desire for me to just want to give them different experiences that maybe they're not that their parents don't want to, but they're busy parenting.
But then also we don't see it, I think.
Right.
Okay.
We don't see the need.
There's a tunnel vision
Okay.
on what we perceive as important.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And there, of course, when you have tunnel vision, that means that you are excluding a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the unmarried auntie or the unmarried adult, not even unmarried, but another adult in their lives can see that because they have a different perspective on it.
Yeah, because I don't think that it has to even be the unmarried. I don't, because I'm a good auntie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a good auntie to my cousins' kids, which are not my nieces and nephews, but like your cousins having kids, they end up being your nieces and nephews. Right. I'm a good auntie to them. I'm a good auntie to my niece and nephew that my niece and nephew listen to the podcast because they're like, we want to see what you're going to say. Yeah, right, because they value what I fucking have to say.
Right.
My kids don't give a fuck what I got to say.
Right. No, really.
you.
And then,
you.
Okay. There's certain ways that I'm sure that you guys talk to your children where, as me, I take this stance. I'm the auntie. I don't have to be correct.
Right.
You show
clean that shit
don't.
up, you know?
Yeah. Right.
When it comes
Whereas
to certain conversations,
you mentioned
you can say
before,
whatever
you
you
don't
want.
curse at your kids.
Right.
But I'm like,
You're
get your
the
shit
auntie.
together. I'm auntie. I'm not, it's not malicious. I'm
Because
just being
I think
auntie.
the truth is that the bottom line is still there. The bottom line that's always in a tribe or in a family is that I love you.
Right. Absolutely.
I love you, first and foremost. So pick that shit up because you don't want your daddy coming in here and seeing like that. I'm just telling you straight up because this is what's going to happen. The auntie can say that.
Right.
If I say it, I seem like a fool. If I say it to my mom, to my
you're
kids.
so mean. Why you doing that to me? I can't live.
Like, I'm trying to help you out so your daddy won't get mad.
Right.
You know you don't like it when he gets mad. So why are you sitting here dilly-dallying?
Right. Pick shit up.
Look, so we can run out of here.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Well, because I had the experience of being the unmarried auntie for a long time with my nieces, because I guess it's my cousin's children and my nieces, because there's such a big age gap between my brother and my older brother and my older sister and myself. So when I was doing it for my cousin, I moved to D.C. to go to college, and her daughter was 3 at the time.
Okay.
So I raised that little girl, right? Like, we grew up together, because 3 and 18 are about the same.
Ow, you're crazy. 3 years old and 18?
Yeah. Have you talked to an 18-year-old lately? Sometimes the impulse control is about the same.
Jesus.
But you are allowed to do other things.
Right. It's just more dangerous.
Right. So when do you feel like you're most active as an auntie? What age range?
I know for our first niece, we were really active because her mom and dad were both still living here. Now her dad lives here, mom lives in another state.
They were super young.
Yeah.
And
so
parents were young.
And then so, of course, they welcomed the break on the weekend. You got some aunties who are going to take this child for the whole weekend? Bye. Here's a bag. Here's some clothes. Bye. And we because our brothers, because there's such a big age difference between us and our brothers, we knew how to take care of kids already. Because why? Mom was working, and, who dragged the kids to school? We did. And when they were younger, who wanted to change their diapers? Who wanted to learn, from
Y'all
mom
did.
and all that stuff? We did, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like revisiting our time.
So you
with
feel
our
like you were
brothers.
most active in those? I mean, just because
Like
you have
the first
you
5
have
years.
the first 5.
Yeah.
So what's it like after? Because my kids are still in the not first
Elementary.
5, but like my kids are 7 and 11, and I absolutely my aunties without kids. So I have my sister-in-law who's the ace. Then I have like 2 or 3 best friends that are aunties or godmothers, but they just always have my back outside of the sleepover part. But like, I was. Did you listen to All Hearts?
Which one?
this most recent one about sisterhood?
Yes.
Because she talked about her sister-in-law, too. And she brought up the beach. And I was like, yes. The first 2 times that I took the kids to the beach, I was like, I need another adult. I need an adult for each kid. Yeah. Me and someone else. There's no way I can take the kids by myself. We can't go. I won't take them. They won't go. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't. Till I had a girlfriend. I was like, hey, do you want to go to the beach? I want to take the kids to the beach. Can you meet me there? She was like, yep. She met me there. She calmed my nerves.
Right.
She was fun. Where I was just like, don't go in the water. Don't touch the water. You have to get up. Don't put that in your mouth. Don't pick this up. And she's like, oh,
she got a different energy.
A whole better energy. Not different. We got to call it what it is. She brought a real better energy of fun and joy and excitement and new adventures. And both of the women that act as aunties hardcore for my kids, they bring more of the fun-loving atmosphere. Yeah. So in Auntie, are you the fun auntie, the street fun auntie? Or are you like it's the Sabbath?
That's their grandparents. Okay. They go to church with their grandparents when they're out here. You want to go first, or?
I like to believe that I'm the fun auntie.
Okay.
As an observer, I would say yes, you are. But you're also the same auntie that'll tell them to pick your shit up. So.
Right. I mean, and I say that because, it's the whole, auntie, where are we going next? There are questions so by them asking me questions, I understand, oh, you like being around auntie. Mm-hmm. Auntie must be fun. Okay. Right. So, yeah, that's why
when I had my brother's daughter, I was the fun auntie. I would pick them up Friday afternoon, and when we got them, I had activities scheduled for Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, and Sunday before we drop you off at your back with your parents. We had these activities scheduled and were going to happen. So I was absolutely the fun auntie, and they would call me and be like, "Can we come over?" Again, I think their parents dialed the number for them, so they could come over.
Come get these kids.
Right? When you going to do this again? It's been 2.5 months. It's about your time. Right. But, but now, as times has changed, because my niece is now 18. Oh, no, shit. She's even older than that. She's 22. But when it was time to go to college and stuff like that, it was when it was time to go to college and stuff, she asked me for information. She talked to me about her decisions that she couldn't speak to her mom about. Right. So essentially I have never actually been an unmarried auntie. I've always been
an
unattached. But a childless auntie.
Oh, okay.
So it does change and it gets different. It becomes different. We didn't talk when she was from probably 13 to 15, 16, where she was just trying to find herself.
Then I must have sucked as an auntie because my brother's kids, they didn't really get to know me until
Were you in the same city?
No, we weren't even in the same state.
That's why.
Okay, is that why?
Yeah.
I mean, and when he started having kids, it was in the prime of my great time of math. He's 9 years older than me, so he started having kids when I was in my early 20s.
Oh no,
okay.
That's
23.
That's when you really have to know how to shake your ass.
I am not an auntie. Yeah, I am not your auntie. Don't call me auntie. So that's funny because no.
But also that you weren't. Proximity has a.
It does. But let's talk about this because if ever any of my old friends from high school, the ones that had their babies at 18 and 19, and they was like, "Damn, Tamara just ghosted on us." I was not even the auntie friend.
Well, no.
There were 2 different girls, I shit you not, that asked me to be godmothers for their kids, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure."
But you had no idea what that meant.
No.
Same.
Deadbeat godmother.
But how old were you when you were?
19 or something. Why are you even having kids 17. That young?
Yeah.
You were barely an adult.
17, yeah.
Yeah. Deadbeat. Both of us. This is a some poor baby around here now. She probably
My godson.
She probably 22, 23 talking about, yeah, I had a godmother.
Right.
I think I've seen her before.
Right.
I got some pictures from when I was 6 months. Woo. She looked like she was going to the club.
Right.
I'm
if
real
they could
good.
levy support, the support would have been levied on me. Like, we need godmama support from you.
Yeah. Here's the paperwork. You have been served.
Yes.
Yeah. Eventually, her mama just stopped talking to me completely. So I was like, well, I mean, what I'm supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, season of life has a lot to do with it, and location as well. 'Cause,
Yeah.
with our first niece, we spent the first 5 years of our life, of her life, with her. We took her just about every single weekend, like clockwork, just about every weekend except for maybe a weekend or two when they would go back to Louisiana. But then after that, I think after about 5 or so years, when she was going on 6, I moved away. And that was about 12 years ago. I moved away. So me being on a different coast and maybe coming back during the holidays, which is when they would come back here to stay with their grandparents. That, and then the fact that she had another sister came along, and then another sister like a year or two after that.
So there are 3 kids?
Yeah, there are 3 kids. I spent the most time with the first one, and the second 2, it's like I'm still getting to know them. Lea knows them like best of all because she's in town when they come to visit, like for the whole summer. She's here for the whole summer. And during the holidays, like certain holidays I miss, like I won't be here for this Christmas, but I'm going to try and catch them on the tail end of their visit before they go back. Mm-hmm. So it's like distance really, really plays a role. But, I hit them up on IG.
Yeah, social media. So that's what I was going to say. Mm-hmm. That's what's made, because so my niece and nephew are 21, and my niece will be 24 in November.
Okay.
So they're pretty much grown, right? Mm-hmm. In college. I mean, they're grown.
Yeah, we don't call it grown.
Loosely speaking.
They never really going to be grown.
Right. But Instagram and social media has been our little spot. I can find them. Mm-hmm. I can check them out. I can see who your friends are. Mm-hmm. I can tell you your friends ain't shit. Mm-hmm. I can tell you, that looks suspect. I can ask you, what you mean by that? Why you post that? What you do that? Because that's the kind of auntie that I've always been.
Right.
Just nosy.
Right.
You know, and that's the same way I am with my cousin's kids. I have my cousin's daughter turned 16 recently, and I was like, "What you doing? You kissing boys?" I don't know if her mom has ever asked that, but damn it,
I do that randomly.
Absolutely. You kissing boys?
Right.
Listen, I'll mess around and tell you some stuff that she's not even ready for.
Where'd that come from?
My mouth.
Yeah, but are you kissing girls? Right? Are you kissing? Tell me, because she was like, "Yeah, we kiss." And so the next time I'm going to talk to her, I'm going to talk about how she's kissing. I'm not going to right then, but it's going to come up.
Right.
Are you laying down and y'all be laying down and kissing? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's how I would say it.
But also, I think that's where the auntie comes into is a pro in the tribe, in the village.
Yes.
So this is an experienced adult that gives you some good advice, and somebody who is aware of what's going on with your child, right? Because they absolutely keep secrets from the parents.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I had this one. See, and so I think it's just auntie. I don't know if the unmarried or not. Yeah. Because I became a resource recently. We went on a family trip, and one of the little girls, she was about 14 or 16. I can't tell the difference around those times. She was, she was like 5'2", 5'3". She had breasts and hips. But she was quiet. She only came down when she was told to, and she just wasn't really fucking with us. All the family stuff, she was just kind of there. At some point, she was just reading a book. And so I'm like, what's going on with her? And they were like, oh, yeah, her and her mom been beefing. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so they told me at the beginning of the trip. Mm-hmm. I've made it my business to find out what's going on with this teenager. I'm her, like, auntie-in-law. Right. Or something like that. Like, my husband, like, it's a whole bunch of steps between how we're blood related. But having that quality and understanding being an auntie and how important it is, I was able to just sit there and I was like, so what's up? Mm-hmm.
Right.
And she was like, what? And I could talk to her like the big homie almost.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and that's what it turned into, and she opened up to me.
Mm-hmm. She knows and trusts that you're not going to go back and tell Mom.
No, she doesn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't promise her anything.
Oh, okay.
And that's the thing. I didn't promise her anything.
Mm-hmm.
She just never got a chance. She never gets a chance to talk.
Right.
And
because she's supposed to be, and you're supposed to,
Auntie
and
Pro.
you need to
Yeah.
do, and you need to do, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, going back to more to the, I'm always talking about black women, but going back to that, it's fucking her up because she's gonna become a grown black woman that feels like she can't express herself or say when something is wrong or say when she doesn't like something or say when there's too much pain. She's gonna feel like she has to shut up.
Right.
So I was like, tell me.
Right.
Right.
And I was like, what does she do?
And I'm not.
Oh, your mama does that? And I wasn't immediately on her mama's side. I was like, yeah. And I cussed to her or with her because
Right.
this ain't my kid.
Right.
And so when she said something, exactly. So she said something, and I was like, wow, that's fucked up. I see what you mean. And she was, and it to watch.
Her energy change.
She was like,
Her
yeah.
demeanor. Yeah.
Somebody else, some other adult sees what I'm saying and not taking it just as talking back,
Right.
talking smack, or out of place. This person understands, or even if you don't understand, at least you're listening
You're
to
just
what
listening, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I listened to her full sentences.
Right. Don't jump in. And,
I didn't jump in. I was just letting her talk.
Yeah.
And when she stopped talking, I didn't always go right back to it. When she stopped
Right,
talking,
exactly,
I mean, these are
exactly.
some fucking real life auntie skills that
Yeah.
everybody doesn't
'Cause you don't
have.
wanna feel-
I know
you
you
don't want
got
her to
it.
feel
I
like-
know you have it, sis. I know you
You
do.
never want them to feel like you are interrogating them,
Right.
and then you're going to take that information and take
I
it
am
back to
not
their parents.
prying. I am not prying. We are just laying in this pool,
Yeah.
having a good time.
So I'm going to take a quick pause right here because we broke out in a sidebar conversation at this moment. We ended up talking about when I started feeling like a real podcaster, and somehow that morphed into a talk about periods. Somehow. Can't tell you how, but it did. It did happen. Anyway, that bonus episode will be coming up at a later date. But right now, back to a conversation about the role aunties play in family life, a collaboration with Barely Bougie Mamas and Planet Noun.
So, in the grand scheme of things, being an auntie, good or bad?
Being an auntie,
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing. It's a blessing.
Yeah. I think
agree.
it's a blessing for everybody involved. For the children,
Right.
because like I had an auntie. She was my older cousin, like 15 years older than me. I was able to go to her, like, because she lived in D.C., Maryland. She was the first one to show me how to use a tampon because, you know, I wasn't a slut until I got to college.
So then you wanted to use it. Don't matter now.
But also, like, you know, just going to her for financial information. And there was an incident in college where when I first got to Howard, they assigned me to the co-ed dorm. And my mother was fucking like, no, this is not going to happen. But my mother was a very quiet person, and she would have just sat there and stewed because she wasn't assertive enough. And my cousin was like, what's the problem? And my cousin was like, okay, fine, we're going to take care of this. And she went over there and she was like, no, listen, she don't want her here, and you got to find a thing on campus because this is dangerous. She is only 17. You know, the whole advocate.
Right.
Right? And I feel like that's part of an auntie's duty.
Yes.
You know?
To advocate for the nieces and nephews. Yeah.
Exactly. In terms of towards their parents, like, you know, the situation with your niece, and for the parents to advocate for their nieces, to advocate from adult to child. Like, you know, your mama ain't that crazy.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Help them, show them the sense in
right,
what
exactly.
your parent is just not being mean or cruel to you. Let me show you the sense in it all.
Right.
So are we going to do hacks? So I have a hack question.
Okay, go ahead.
How, as aunties, as active aunties, how would you suggest someone beginning that relationship, pulling that relationship out? If you have an auntie, a sister, or a sister friend, or a girlfriend that loves your children, but they don't really pick them up, or they don't really engage hard because maybe they think something. Because I know that will happen. Oh, she won't want me to do this, or she won't want me to do that. How do you get them engaged, or get them active, or let them know that, yo, we need you?
Well, I think that's the first step. You have to have that conversation and be open about it, to make sure that's something that they want to do. Because, there are some people out there who don't have kids, and they may love your kids to death, but guess what? I don't want to be bothered with your kids.
Yeah,
So
I'll see them when I see you.
Right, exactly. So I think to have that conversation, just, would you like to spend more time? Not that I'm trying to pawn them off on you, I'm not trying to get you to babysit, but like, what type of role would you like to have in my child's life? And then also couple it with, because this is how I see you in my child's life.
Cause I think that's important, because even in having this conversation, I realized that I may not have expressed to my sister-in-law how valuable she is to our immediate union as a marriage. Even, I mean, I think about the couple of times that I'd be like, "Oh, fuck this, we out." I ain't doing this no more. Nigga,
This son of a bitch,
I'm breaking up. I ain't going, fuck this. I could do it I could be bad all by myself. Or whatever, that thing.
Yeah, that's kind of fair. You got it exactly right.
But you know who comes into my mind? My sister-in-law.
Okay.
When I think about that, I'm like, what would that mean?
Right.
So if him and I broke up and he's living here and I'm living here, is he going to make sure that they are having their relationship with the sister-in-law? Is she going to talk to me still? Or is she not going to talk to me? I don't want to lose her.
Right. You guys need your own relationship.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to lose her. So maybe we can make this work, dude. Because your sister on point. Right. Your tribe is tight.
So we'll deal with your ass.
I guess you could start. Yeah.
Just go to the he shed.
Do you feel gratitude
for
the time that we get to spend? That you, not even that you get to spend, outside of the time, because we clearly talked about it's not really the time, it's the conversations. It's the being able to kind of be themselves with somebody else that respects them and loves them. And me, as being the mother and not really the auntie in a lot of situations, I know that I don't express enough gratitude to my auntie friends.
Oh, okay.
Even like my best friend that will change her schedule around. For instance, my homegirl.
I saw you.
Because it was important to me, and I'm not gonna get mushy. But like every Christmas Eve, she would come and spend the night at my house because I have 2 kids and my mom's disabled and she's not her mobility is not that good all the time. So she ain't getting on the floor and wrapping gifts for me. Right. And being a part of the Barely Bougie Mamas, I was very ghetto with the amount of gifts I would buy the first few years of parenting because my kids should have all of the things. Right. And so her and she would come over and she would sit up with me and we would make we'd wrap gifts and we'd wrap gifts and eat tacos. That's our shit. We like tacos. It's not a Christmas thing. We just like tacos. Yes, so we would just make a bunch.
Like some California shit.
Yeah, that's a Cali thing, right? So we'd have a whole pan of like carne asada and the shells right there on the side, and we wrapping gifts and making tacos and wrapping gifts and making tacos. It might be 2 or 3 in the morning. I wouldn't have been able to have Christmas the way that I wanted to have Christmas had she not come over. And she wouldn't be there for Christmas Day the whole day. She would be there for when we woke up. She would have breakfast with us, and then she would hit the road to go and spend time with her biological nieces and nephews and her biological cousins and biological fathers. But she knew how much I needed her. And our love, and those are her god kids. She would come and do it. That's so important. It's like it became a norm. The year that she hasn't been, this last year was the first year she wasn't able to do it. And the kids were like, Where's Auntie Meta?
Right.
Auntie Meta's not good. I mean, Auntie Meta would just sleep on the couch. It wasn't like a...
It wasn't a thing.
But it was a thing.
Yeah.
The presence.
The presence
was a...
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I guess as one of the mommies, I just want to make sure that you guys understood how important you guys are. And I want to personally express gratitude to you because I know that your nieces and nephews, your nieces, right? It's just nieces.
Yeah, it's just nieces, yeah.
They're going to be better people. They're going to be better. Get the nephews. Get it popping.
We will draft the document once we return home.
No, but I appreciate you because your nieces are going to be better women.
Right.
Because of it. And we need to work on humanity as a whole.
Right.
All of our kids need to be better. And because you have girls that are able to talk to women, that's what it is.
Truly. Yeah.
Girls that are able to talk to women, like, it's going to make them so much better. Because we didn't have anyone to talk to sometimes.
Yeah. I felt that.
I felt that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I felt because of the whole, like, everybody was married with children, and so it was kind of like
everybody's busy.
Yeah, when I was a
holding
kid,
down the household.
Yeah. But yes, I totally in agreement with Tamara that having an unmarried auntie in the situation is so helpful, and it is so gratifying for everything. Like the unmarried aunties or the aunties who are willing to take these motherfuckers help so much with the mental health of the moms and dads, and like you said, the relationships. Like, I thought you were going to the way of you call her and you bitch about him and she calms you down, not that you was ready to leave.
Well, no, because even in that, I have called her, and she'll say I know, and that's kind of cool. You know, because she knows her brother. And then she also is able to tell me, you know, she's able to give me some insight sometimes, like on things that I didn't know. Oh, that's how we grew up. Or that used to happen. And I'm like, oh, tell me. And they may not be stories that he would tell me. So that's a whole nother ball of greatness. The other greatness for aunties with little black girls, hair. You know, y'all will spend the money. Y'all will buy all the packs of hair. Y'all will go and take her to the shop. The hair jewelry and all the shit. Because if I do the hair, it's one color. The color of your hair. There's nothing else in it. If there's cornrows, the cornrows are going straight back. When Auntie does it, the cornrows is to the side.
That's why I would you like some highlights? she looked at me surprised. She was like, I get highlights? I said, you want some hair jewelry?
She was like, then she said, "Can I get my brows done?"
Oh, you crossing like you 12.
But that would be me. That's the niece I would do. I'm like, can I get my brows done? Can I wear eyeliner? Can I put on some blush? I'm like, no.
Like, no, here's Wet n Wild lip gloss.
From the Dollar Tree.
Oh my God! It's like as far as feeling gratitude, I don't recall their mom ever saying thank you verbally, but every time she lets us and allows us to take them, I saw that as gratitude.
Yeah. Oh wow!
So you know,
because
she doesn't have to.
She's not a super verbal person like that. Okay. You know, you get to know how people express. Mm-hmm. So that was her expression. Her expression let us know that she was thank you. She was thankful.
Yeah, I always felt like I couldn't thank my sister-in-law enough.
What?
I don't know, because she would just do shit that I just was like, you bought them both shoes?
Right.
They have coats? Where'd you get coats from?
And see, but here's the thing. Even if you don't say the verbal thank you, we know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
You know, because a lot of it is a woman thing, too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I can look at you. I can read you. When you talk to me about your children, you give me a sense of what's going on and what you need without literally saying, this is what I need.
Right.
Yeah, because I never wanted that feeling to be like,
every time I talk to you, I'm asking you for some shoes.
Hey, yeah, I don't got no shoes. We need a jacket. Just started school. We struggling. No, that's not.
Yeah, most of it, we don't need to hear the actual words. And if we have the ability, we're going to make it happen.
Right. I mean, and like, the girls get fabulous gifts from their aunties. Because she'll call and be like, for Christmas, what do they want? Well, they talking about this fucking dream house, but that ain't gonna happen, right? And then the dream house show up,
Right.
See, now here's where I struggle in that one with with Christmas and those kind of gifts. It started to be too much.
Well, and you can say that too.
And so I shut it down like super quick because I was like, these niggas can't have everything. They can't get everything that they want. Oh, because this is our podcast.
Yes.
So wait, just to highlight. So Barely Bougie Mamas did Planet Now podcast, and I couldn't say the N-word.
I mean, you could have, but I was
the N-word.
You just don't believe you out, girl.
Yeah.
So she said she's gonna
know what you were gonna say. I would leave the and the but
you hilarious. So she's about to bleep. We're all recording now. So if she does air it on hers, it'll sound funny. But no, yeah, I didn't want them to have everything.
Right.
But so now I literally incorporate her in my family planning. Like, I know the gifts that my daughter wants already.
Right.
There's 3 of them. I'm looking at price ranges, and I know which one to tell her.
Okay.
And then she and my mother-in-law can either come together and get it, or she can get it on her own. But I will tell her, don't get anything else. We're getting 3 big gifts only.
Right.
Or one of the big gifts is gone, and you can do clothes and shoes and stuff.
Right.
I get it.
And I can, but the thing is, we're so close now. We've been doing this marriage. We've been married now 12 years, you know?
You and the auntie?
Yeah. We totally go together.
What did you think?
We go together. Yeah. We're together.
okay, together
Ever.
forever.
Hi, Auntie Mimi. We love you. I don't think she listens either, though. Like, so,
Yeah, like
such
I
is
said,
life.
no black folks listen. None of your black people listen to the podcast.
I wonder why.
Because they probably don't think you're black. Why are you mad at
To
me?
see the look. Ooh, I
Ain't
wish I could
nobody
translate
nigga
into
thought,
audio.
what?
Okay, I'll trim that part.
You ain't got to trim nothing. You can just leave that dead silence in that motherfucker.
Okay,
All
we
right.
gotta go.
Yeah, I have to leave.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to the Barely Bougie Mamas.
Thank you for listening to Barely Bougie Mamas, and thank you to Planet Now for joining us. Make sure to check out both of our podcasts. Is the podcast your podcast or both of y'all?
It's
It's
mine.
hers. I just made a guest appearance
Oh,
on that
okay.
one episode.
And I have the prerogative to drag her back anytime
Yeah.
I wish because sister privileges.
Do you guys want
I
to
would
give
like
your
the same for you.
Instagrams and stuff?
Oh, yes. You want to give yours? Or
Oh, sure. You can follow me on Instagram, Lele Love Jones, Lele Love LOVE Jones JONES.
Yeah. That's Auntie Lily.
yeah. Supreme. Right? And I'm at Planet Noun. That's planet like the heavenly body. PLANETNOUN, like the part of speech.
Hey, man. You know, it's planet like the heavenly body.
You thought I was bougie.
Yeah. Well, because you know,
Her
I
radio background.
thought it was Planet Now for the longest. So I definitely thought it was a white woman. And I was like, oh, this white bitch is about to be on here. What the fuck are we about to do?
And I told you I don't have no white friends.
It's hilarious. I got so many white
You
friends.
for real thought I was like,
Planet Now. I thought it was a white lady. Yeah,
wow.
I did.
I don't know if I've ever heard that.
I mean, yeah, because I'm weird. I'm different.
That's okay.
I'll take that. So
Different is good.
I be thinking different stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why would a black girl be talking about the planet? Like, what does that even mean? All these black people dying, she worried about the planet.
All right. That was a good one.
Thanks so much for listening to Planet Noun, where it's all about the people, places, things, and ideas that teach us, prompt us to make a difference, and do more with what life presents us. You've been listening to a collaboration episode with hosts of the new podcast, Barely Bougie Mamas. It features Liliana and Tamara, and their podcast is about two moms who grew up in poverty but have crafted lives for themselves and their families that are totally different from their own upbringings, and all of the funnies and concerns that stem from those differences. This is our second of 2 crossover episodes with them, and this one, we were talking about the role that childless aunties play in family life, or just aunties in general. There's another one that we released last week. Be sure to check out episode 22 of Planet Noun to learn more about the mamas. You can also connect with them by listening to their podcast or looking them up on social media. Get all of that info at planetnoun.com, as well as a link to their show on Anchor FM. I'm Liz Anderson, host of the Planet Noun podcast, and don't forget to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're also on SoundCloud, and please stop by Apple Podcast and rate the show. Thanks again for stopping by, and until next time, take care.